Hi everyone, welcome. The new episode of my Peter's English podcast has been started. I'm your host Peter, and let's start this picture in picture mode episode where I want to chat with the study and learn mode of Microsoft Copilot, and the topic is prepositions. Yes, people, prepositions again because it's a very beautiful English grammar for you and me too. And I discovered that when I do my exercises for my English lesson with my English teacher, I always bet like a sport results, and it's not a very good idea. And as Luke from Luke's English podcast said, 5P, you have to do 5P, practice, practice, and practice. And this is the main reason why I want to revise prepositions again. But let's start with the slogan: learn English, be successful, change your life, open a lot of doors, create your own podcast, write your own novel. You don't need to be talented because learning English is for everyone. Okay, people. Hello, I'm your host Peter, and this is Peter's English podcast, the best English podcast in the world, in my eyes. Okay, let's start. Uh, okay, we have to activate study and learn mode, and let's start. Everything is working. Yes, everything is working. Uh, I'm streaming and recording on my YouTube channel via OBS Studio, the new live stream of my podcast. It's a PEEP episode about learning English with study and learn mode of Microsoft Copilot. Let's start prepositions uh, from the beginner level. Okay, and we can start. Yes, of course, we can start, but we have to wait. Okay, it's study and learn mode. Yes, of course it is. Okay, five. And can you see it? Yes, you can. And we can start. Okay. I'm streaming and recording on my YouTube channel via OBS Studio, the new live stream of my podcast. I'm very happy that I can do it. It's a PIP episode about learning English with study and learn mode on Microsoft Copilot. Let's start prepositions from the beginner level. Great. Let's treat this as the opening moment of your live PIP lesson, but still stay in study mode. So I guide you step by step and let you think through each idea. We'll start prepositions from the true beginner level on one small idea at a time. First key idea: prepositions show relationships. Before we go deeper, let me ask you one simple question to warm up your thinking. When you hear the preposition in, on, and at, what kind of relationship do you think they describe? Place, time, or something else? In, on, at, place. Yes, of course, place. They describe place. As you can see, people, is the best idea to answer in this study and learn mode, because it's a very good idea how to learn English. Yes. What else? Okay, F5. They describe place. Great. Place is exactly the right starting point for beginner level prepositions, and it gives us a clean foundation for your life PEEP lesson. Let's build on that one idea, but it's small study mode steps so you stay in control of the teaching flow. The three core place prepositions: in, on, at. These three are the backbone of all place descriptions in English. Each one answers the same question, where, but they describe different types of locations. To keep it simple for your viewers, here's the beginner-friendly pattern. Inside something, on, touching a surface, at, a pointing or specific place. Aha, this is the basic map we'll use. Let's test your intuition. Before we go deeper, try this one. If I say I'm the kitchen, which preposition feels right to you? In, on, or at? I am in the kitchen. We'll try in. We'll try in. I'll see the answer. Okay, we have to wait. We have to wait. Okay, there is the answer. In. Exactly, in the kitchen is the correct choice. You're thinking like a native speaker here, because in is the preposition we use for enclosed space. Let's build the next small step of your PEEP lesson while keeping the study mode rhythm. One idea, one question. Why in works here? We use in for places that feel like a container or an enclosed area. In the kitchen, in the room, in the car, in the city. The idea is always you are inside something. This is very easy. Okay. Your next quick check. Imagine this situation. You put your phone on the table. Which preposition fits? The phone is on the table. What else? This is easy. Okay, we have to wait. F5. Can you see it? Yes, you can. Let's continue. On. Correct. On the... I like this. Answering correct. Correct on the table is exactly right. You're applying the core idea perfectly. On is used for surfaces and a table is a classic beginner level example. Let's build the next layer of your PEEP lesson while staying in study mode. One idea, one step, one question. How on works for place. We use on when something is touching a surface. On the table, on the wall, on the floor, on the shelf, on the screen. The mental picture is always object plus surface. This is a simple rule your viewers will understand immediately. Your next step, add for specific points. We covered in, inside, on, surface. Now, let's test your intuition for the third one. Imagine you're waiting for someone at a bus stop. Which preposition feels right? In, on, at. I think at. Thanks to Microsoft Copilot, I learned that I have to use at as a point. Yes, perfect. We have to wait. At. Exactly at the bus stop is the correct choice. You've now used all three core place prepositions correctly, and that gives your PEEP lesson and clean, beginner-friendly foundation. The three-part pattern your viewers can learn from you. In, inside a space, in the kitchen, on a surface, on the table, at a point or specific place at the bus stop. This simple pattern is the backbone or beginner prepositions, and you've already demonstrated it naturally, expanding the idea for your live stream. Once your viewers understand the basic meaning of in, on, at, you can show how these prepositions also work with bigger places. In a city, country, neighborhood, on an island, a street, floor, a building, and an address, building, and event. This helps beginners see that prepositions are not random, they follow a logic. Okay, let's build the next step together. Try this one, still a beginner level. I live in Lean, of course. What else? This is very easy, people. But who cares? It's the beginner level, isn't it? Okay, we have to wait. We have to wait. Yeah, people, I'm tired. But who cares? Who cares? We can do it. Let's continue, Peter. In. Correct again. In Bratislava is the natural and standard choice. You're now consistently applying the core logic of place prepositions, which is exactly what the beginner level PEEP lesson needs. Simple rules that actually work in real life. Why in works with cities and countries. We use in for places that are understood as large areas or regions. In Bratislava, in Slovakia, in Europe, in the city, in the mountains. The idea is the same as before. You are inside a bigger space. Wait a minute, people. I have problems with my eyes. My problem with my eyes. It's the second time I have to cry for the lesson. Yes, people. I'm crying for you that I can. I'm crying that I can do this podcast. I'm crying that I speak English. I'm crying not that I know. I'm crying that I'm happy. Yes, I'm crying because I'm happy that I can learning English, and it's not problem to clean my eyes now, and it's part of my stand-up routine. Yes, people, I'm crying because it was hard day today, but who cares? Wait a minute, I'm sorry for this, but you have to escape if you want. Escape, please, if you want, but please stay, and we can continue with the topic. I think that I'm alive, my eyes are activated, and yes, people, you have to use something for cleaning your eyes, and don't worry. Uh, okay, I need to clean it because I'm tired, my eyes are tired, but no, people, I don't want to stop. Let's continue. Wait a minute, I still cannot continue. We've been streaming for 12 minutes and I have still problem with my eyes. We have to wait a little. Okay, this episode can be called Cleaning the Eyes with Peter. I can clean my eyes for the whole episode. Who cares? I can end explaining something. Or I can practicing my English, but it's not ramble episode as you can see. But don't worry, I like to ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble. And we are back. Let's do it again. In. Correct. Again. In Bratislava is the natural and standard choice. You're now consistently applying the core logic of place prepositions, which is exactly what the beginner level PEEP lesson needs. Simple rules that actually work in real life. Why in works with cities and countries. We use in for places that are understood as large areas or regions. In Bratislava, in Slovakia, in Europe, in the city, in the mountains. The idea is the same as before. You are inside a bigger space, just not physically inside four walls. Aha. This is a great moment in your live stream to show a simple map or visual. I don't have something, no, who cares? It helps beginners see the logic instantly. Use Google or something else. Let's continue. Extending the pattern for your viewers. Wait a minute. I have to clean my nose now. With continuing this this thing. Okay, let's continue. Extending the pattern for your viewers. Now that you mastered the basic idea, you can show you how English uses in on at for different types of places in cities, countries, neighborhoods, in Bratislava, on islands, streets, floors, at specific points, at the station, at the airport. This gives your audience a clear mental model they can reuse, I don't know, everywhere. Let's build the next step. Try this one. Still beginner level, but slightly more interesting. I leave on. On. Yes. Aha. Different. Okay. On. Because streets are always on. Okay. This was easy. I think. You can remember, people, that at is a specific points. It's the station in cities, but on islands, streets, floors, etc. Okay, let's continue. On. Perfect on a small street is exactly the natural beginner level choice. You're keeping the logic consistent. On works for streets because English treats a street like a long surface you stand or live on. Aha, this is the explanation. Why? And we are know why. Let's build the next small step of your PIP lesson. Still in study mode and still no idea at the time, one idea at a time. Why English uses on with streets? English imagines a street as a kind of line or surface. On Main Street, on Oxford Street, on a quiet street, on the corner of the street. This is why on a small street near the river feels right. You're located on that line. This is a great moment in your live stream to show a simple visual, a street down as a line with houses on it. Okay, we don't need to do it because explanation is enough. Let's continue. Your next step, combining place preposition. Let's try a slightly richer sentence, still beginner friendly. My friend lives in at the end. Okay, we have to wait. We have to wait for the explanation of Microsoft Copilot. Yes, here is. In add. Yes, in add is exactly the combination that works here. You're applying the logic of place prepositions consistently. And this is the moment in your PIP lesson where beginners start to see the pattern clearly. Let's slow it down just enough to make the idea solid for your viewers while keeping the study mode rhythm. Why inward for a big house? A house is understood as an enclosed space, so the relationship is in a house, in a building, in a room. The mental picture is always inside a space. Why it works for the end of the street? The end of the street is a specific point, not a surface or an enclosed area. English uses at the end of the street, in the corner, at the bus stop, at the station. The idea is a point on a map. Your answer shows you already thinking in this map logic is exactly what beginners need to learn. Let's build the next step. Try this one. Still beginner level, but it connects to ideas you've already used. I'm waiting at and on. Now I understand why. And that's great. As you can see, Microsoft Copilot, the study and learn mode can explain you why this is the logic of what is the magic of the prepositions in English, and you don't need to be an English teacher. You can use uh, study and learn mode Microsoft Copilot and talk about it with your English teacher. Yes, of course, or in your podcast like me. Yes, F5. Add on. Exactly, add on is the natural and correct combination. You're applying the logic of place prepositions consistently, and this is exactly how a beginner level PIP lesson should unfold. One clear idea at a time, each one building on the last. Why it works for the corner. A corner is understood as a specific point. English uses at for point on a map, at the corner, at the bus stop, at the station, at the traffic lights. The idea is always a precise point where something happens. Y on works for the street. A street is imagined as a line for or surface. So English uses on the street, on the main street, on a quiet street, on the road. You're standing on that line, not inside it. Your answer shows you're already thinking in this map logic, which is exactly what beginners need to learn from your PIP lesson, PIP episode. Let's build the next step. Try this one, still beginner's level, but it connects place and movements. I'm walking on the street and going to no in at we'll try at and we'll see. You have to wait. We have to wait F5 on at. Yes, on at is exactly the combination that works here, and you're applying the logic or place and movement prepositions very naturally. This is a great moment in your PIP lesson because it shows beginners how English uses different prepositions for movement and different prepositions for location. Y on works for walking on the street. A street is understood as a surface or line, so English uses on the street, on the road, on the main street. You're moving along that surface, so on is the natural choice. Y at work for going at the shop. Here's the key idea. When you talk about movement toward a place, English uses to, not at. Aha. So the natural sentence is, I'm walking on the street and going to the shop. I was thinking that is to. To a movement toward a destination. At a point where you are, not where you're going. For your instinct for the first blank was perfect. For the second blank, you choose at, which is great because it shows you're thinking about location, but we need movement. This is a classic beginner level distinction and perfect for a live stream. Quick practice to lock it in. Try this one. I'm standing at I'm walking to. This is easy. Now it's easy because we can understand it very easy. Okay. Add to. Yes, add to is exactly right. You now switching smoothly between location and movement, which is the key beginner skill your PIP viewers need to see in action. Why at work for standing at the shop? You're describing a fixed point, a place where you are, not where you're going. English uses at for points, at the shop, at the station, at the door, at the corner. It's a dot on the map. Y2 works for walking to the station. Now you're describing movement toward a destination. English uses to for direction. Go to school, walk to the station, drive to work, fly to London. It's the arrow on the map. Your answer shows you already thinking in this dot versus arrow logic. Perfect for beginners. Let's build the next step. Try this one, still beginner level, but now mixing on at 2. Okay, I think that's it for today. And tomorrow we can continue with another prepositions. Why not? It's very big area. Okay, I think that's it. That's it for today. We can continue tomorrow with the next group of prepositions. today create a 500 word story inspired by my novel Viera the Vampire Girl Diary. Use a lot of funny wild dialogues. Use Mr. Flap Flap again because it's funny. Because it's funny. Use today's English grammar. And we have to wait for the story and Bob's your uncle for today. Yes, people, I'm not having any money from this. It's my hobby, but I think that no one likes a very long explanation or something, and I think that half an hour is enough for podcasting. I mean, for PIP lessons. For people, no, it's not the lesson. I mean, for you know what I mean. I mean for PIP episodes. Uh, and here is the story, I think. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, I think we. Wait a minute. Regenerate. Think deeper. Okay. Now we can do it. Perfect. We can do it. Yes. Okay. Here is the story. F5. Here is the story, and I'm going to read you the story created and generated by Microsoft Copilot. It's inspired by my novel Viera the Vampire Girl Diary, and this story uses today's English grammar for explanation how English grammar works in reality. Let's read it, and Peter, don't destroy your gear. We can start. Viera opened the diary and a moth flew into the lamp, which was exactly the kind of dramatic entrance she liked. Mr. Flap Flap, a pigeon with a tiny top hat and a suspiciously loud laugh, pecked at the page. In the attic under the moon, I practiced saying in on it until the bats applauded. Viera read aloud. Mr. Flap Flap clapped with one wing. Bravo! Bravo! I prefer on the roof myself. Much more breeze. Breeze? Vera sniffled. You live on the roof, you say? How do you sleep in a hat? I don't sleep, Mr. Flap said, solemn as a philosopher. I nap at the edge of the chimney. It's a point of honor. A knock sounded at the window. A squirrel in a detective coat slid onto the sill. Miss Viera, there's a problem in the garden. Someone put a sign on the pond that says no swimming for vampires. Viera's pen froze. Who could be so rude to a vampire? The squirrel tapped his tiny magnifying glass. It was signed the ducks. Ducks? Viera laughed. They can't even fly properly. They're not allowed in my mysteries. Mr. Flap Flap leaned over the diary. We should go to the pond and ask them politely or loudly. I vote loudly. They walked along the moonlit path, Viera's boots clicking on the stones. The pond glowed in silver. A council of ducks waddled at the edge, wearing tiny protest signs. Excuse me, Viera said, smiling. Why the sign? A duck with monocle quacked. We're tired of midnight splashes. It's messy on our feathers. Mr. Flap bowed. Madame Duck, have you tried a polite no to the vampire? Vera is very tidy. She keeps her cape in a wardrobe. The duck blinked. A wardrobe? For a vampire? How quiet. Do you hang garlic on the coat hangers? Vera blushed. No garlic, only lavender. It smells nice in the wardrobe. The duck whispered to another, lavender? That's suspiciously civilized. Suddenly, a frog leaped into the conversation, landing on a lily pad. I can meditate. Meditate. I can mediate. I once negotiated peace between two rivals dragonflies. Between, Viera corrected gently. We say between for two, among for many. The frog bowed. Ah, grammar. I will use the correct preposition in my speech. The ducks and the pigeon and the squirrel and the frog argued and laughed and practiced prepositions until the moon yawned. Viera taught them how to say, I live in a house, I sit on a bench, I wait at the gate, I walk to the market. And they repeated it like a chorus. Now, Viera said, closing the diary, who will help me write a polite sign to the ducks? Mr. Flap Flap hopped onto a rock and declared, I will, it will say, Dear ducks, please do not swim at midnight. Sincerely, Viera and Mr. Flap Flap, who naps on chimneys. The ducks cheered. The frog took notes in a tiny notebook. The squirrel poked a crab of cake from somewhere mysterious. They all agreed to meet at dawn for tea, which is to say they agreed to meet at the next full moon because vampires are dramatic and ducks are punctual. Shall I turn this into a simplified script so you can use on stream for learners? I actually did it. Okay, thank you very much. Microsoft Copilot, that's it for today. I'm going to write you that I did it. I actually read it for my audience during my live stream. Okay, people. I think that this next, I think this is the next, not the next, this is the same story. Yes, it is. Okay, people. No, it's not. Microsoft Copilot tried to create another story, but not for this time. Okay, people, thank you very much. I hope you learned something from today. Yes, I only asked for explanation or a few prepositions in English, but we can continue with the tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow until everyone escape from my podcast. But okay, thank you very much. Follow me everywhere. Please write positive comments. Read my novel, Viera the Vampire Diary. You can find it on my website, petersenglishpodcast.com, and you can find every link of the Peter the whole world on my link tree. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Follow me everywhere, and I want to tell you bye bye.